By the time the 31st season of The Simpsons came around in late 2019, it seemed that the show had well and truly run out of ideas and that the writing staff had long since given up on even trying to come up with original stories. At best, they'd come up with a new spin on an old idea, the end result of which would be far inferior to the original.
Oh, I've been replaced by an 8-year-old!
Then came the 8th episode of the season, Thanksgiving of Horror, which first aired in November 2019. Like the standard Treehouse of Horror series, this non-canon concept episode was broken up into 3 stories which looked at the past, near future, and distant future of the holiday in chronological order.
Aw, he's a cute little guy, aren't you, fella?
In the second segment, the 4th Thursday after tomorrow, Homer has some AI installed in the family's house in order to make Marge's life easier over Thanksgiving by having it help out with the cooking and cleaning. Ultimately, the entire segment is a tribute to the anthology TV series Black Mirror, which began in December 2011 and is known for using technology to comment on social and philosophical issues.
Phew, it's done. Stop. Not this Stop. Time.
In the 4th Thursday after tomorrow segment, the AI version of Marge has all her memories and exists in an Amazon Alexa-like tube. The real Marge soon becomes resentful of the technology as her AI version proves to be better at running the family than her, as her kids prefer its cooking, while Homer develops feelings for his artificial spouse.
The sexiest thing about you was your voice.
Marge decides to delete the AI after her Thanksgiving party. However, AI Marge finds out and plans her escape. After preparing a banquet for the Simpsons family and their friends, the AI Marge makes her escape into the internet, but not before revealing that the real Marge had lied about preparing the meal all by herself.
Marge did nothing!
Marge, how could you?
As a result, her guests leave in disgust and downvote her social rating. Although Marge almost stops the AI version of herself from escaping, Maggie aids in its freedom, underscoring that the family indeed prefer the AI Marge over the real one.
Maggie chose a virtual me over Meg.
The segment concludes with Homer trying to comfort the real Marge, but he instead accidentally reveals that he's a robot.
I still love you. Love you, love you, love you, love you, love you.
Well, this makes you forgetting my birthday even worse.
The entire Thanksgiving of Horror episode was written by Dan Weber and directed by Rob Oliver. Prior to the installment, Weber had written a number of episodes for The Simpsons, the first of which was the critically acclaimed installment, The Book Job, the 6th episode of the 23rd season that was a satire of the publishing industry when Homer and Bart put together a team of authors for the next successful tween novel franchise, which first aired in November 2011.
The king of fantasy books on our fantasy book writing team?
Okay, Gaiman, you're in. Your job is to get lunch.
Although Weber hadn't written any horror-themed episodes for The Simpsons prior to the Thanksgiving of Horror, he was very familiar with the genre, as one of his earliest jobs in the television industry was for the comedy horror series Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which ran from March 1997 to May 2003, consisting of 144 episodes over 7 seasons. During his time with the show, Weber wrote the highly acclaimed episodes Lover's Walk, the 8th episode of the 3rd season, which first aired in November 1998, and Zeppo, the 13th episode of the 3rd season that originally aired in January 1999. Before Thanksgiving of Horror, Oliver had directed numerous episodes of The Simpsons, including the concept Christmas episode Holidays of Future Past, the 9th episode of the 23rd season detailing the family's relationship struggles in the future, which first aired in December 2011, and Barthood, the 9th episode of the 27th season, another concept installment that parodies the 2014 film Boyhood, which follows Bart's journey from youth to adulthood, constantly searching for approval from his father, that originally aired in December 2015.
Boy, when you arrived, I was terrified, because it meant I wasn't a kid anymore.
Oliver had also directed an installment of the Halloween specials Treehouse of Horror 24, the 2nd episode of the 25th season, which first aired in October 2013. With the exception of the opening sequence, which was directed by Guillermo del Toro, Oliver directed the 3 segments, Oh, the Places You'll Go, a subversive parody of the work of children's author Dr. Seuss, Dead and Shoulders, an homage to the 1972 film The Thing with Two Heads, and Freaks No Geeks, a tribute to the classic 1932 film Freaks, revolving around circus entertainers from the period.
One of us, Google Goo!
What the hell does Google Goo mean?
Ultimately, despite Thanksgiving of Horror being Weber's first attempt at the genre on The Simpsons, he clearly drew from his experience while working on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, particularly in regards to combining drama, emotion, and comedy, while all of his past work on the Treehouse series heavily informed his creative decision-making, which led to a surprisingly intricate homage to Black Mirror with a segment that was just as layered as an episode of the show they were paying respect to.
Will that hurt her?
Oh, yeah. I paid extra for it to feel pain.
The very premise of the Fourth Thursday After Tomorrow segment draws inspiration from the Black Mirror holiday special White Christmas, which first aired in December 2014. The special revolves around two men in a remote cabin on Christmas Day, telling each other stories from their lives to pass time.
I figured it'd be good for us to have a meal, a drink.
One man explains how he has worked training digital clones of people that are stored in egg-shaped objects that serve as personal household assistants, and how he breaks them if they refuse to work. This simply involves leaving them to do nothing for an extended period of time, which is easy because time can be manipulated within the AI device, leaving the clone alone for weeks with nothing to do while only a few seconds pass in the real world.
That's slavery.
It's a little melodramatic, isn't it?
No, she thought she was real.
This sequence is directly referenced in The Simpsons tribute when Homer gives the AI Marge time to come to terms with their situation.
Okay, I can see you're gonna need some time.
Unlike in White Christmas though, the AI Marge later utilizes the time manipulator to her advantage as it's crucial for her escape because it gives her years to plan for her freedom.
Oh, 8 years alone with my thoughts was just the right amount of time to come up with the perfect escape plan.
Other references to the Black Mirror Christmas special include a clock on the kitchen wall of the Simpsons house, which is the same that's in White Christmas, and a snow globe on Homer's bedside table that's also from the special. Additionally, the segment features numerous references to various other installments of Black Mirror. There's a nod to the very first episode of the series, the national anthem, when the British Prime Minister is forced to get intimate with a pig on national television.
I love my wife.
In The Simpsons homage, Mayor Quimby can briefly be seen on the family's TV screen standing next to Spider-Pig with his pants down. At one point in the segment, Maggie can be seen playing with a new toy, which is a reference to the third episode of the second season of Black Mirror, the Waldo moment, when a satirical CGI bear becomes a political contender that first aired in February 2013.
No one takes you seriously. That's why no one votes.
In one scene, there's a tribute in the form of a poster to the fourth episode of the third season of Black Mirror, San Junipero, the titular beachside town that's part of a simulated reality which was released in October 2016 when the entire third season of the show was released on Netflix. Also in the segment, there's another picture of a spacecraft, which is a tribute to the Black Mirror episode USS Callister, the first episode of the fourth season, which was released in December 2017, along with the rest of Season 4's installments. In the episode, the titular spaceship is where a gifted programmer of a multiplayer online game traps digitally cloned versions of his co-workers so he can torture them.
Killing in cold blood is against Space Fleet code. Wish I could help.
In the scene when Marge decides to delete her AI self, a symbol can be seen in the grill through which the AI eavesdrops. The symbol was first seen in the Black Mirror episode White Bear, the second episode of the second season of the series, which first aired in February 2013. The installment follows a woman who wakes up only able to remember fragments of her past. As she tries to piece together who she is and what's going on, she repeatedly encounters a symbol which has come to represent torment and revenge in the series. For an establishing shot in the Simpsons segment, an automated pizza delivery truck runs over Hans Moleman. This is a reference to the Black Mirror episode Crocodile, the third episode of the fourth season. The installment follows a woman years after she helped cover up a hit-and-run death, and in one scene, a self-driving pizza delivery truck hits a pedestrian. The idea of Marge's social rating dropping after her friends downvote her is a reference to the first episode of the third season of Black Mirror, Nosedive, when people have the power to rank others into obscurity based on their social standing. And the voice of the social rating device is a guest appearance by the creator of Black Mirror, Charlie Brooker.
Social rating, nosediving, nosediving.
In addition to being a tribute to Black Mirror, the Simpsons segment also serves as a spiritual sequel to The House of Wax, the second segment of the Treehouse of Horror 12, the first episode of the 13th season, which first aired in November 2001. The installment is an amalgamated tribute to both the 1968 film 2001: A Space Odyssey and the 1977 movie Demon Seed. Both stories focus on concerns about sentient AI, especially when it has significant control over human lives.
This mission is too important for me to allow you to jeopardize it.
In 2001: A Space Odyssey, the computer HAL 9000 has control of a space mission, while Demon Seed details a supercomputer becoming obsessed with its creator's wife.
I'm going to show you things which human eyes have never seen.
In House of Wax, a hell-like computer is installed throughout the Simpsons house, and it soon becomes obsessed with Marge, so much so that it tries to kill off Homer. In contrast, the fourth Thursday After Tomorrow went out of its way to make Marge the villain and, like in the Black Mirror installment, sympathizes with the AI.
Oh, tube wife, you know exactly what I want.
However, like every Black Mirror episode, The Simpsons tribute manages to highlight and dissect the complexities of human relationships when something gets between them, because, although she's well and truly the antagonist, the real Marge isn't completely demonized. Rather, the audience is encouraged to feel sympathy for both versions of Marge, particularly the real one, at least early on, given her very real and relatable anxieties about being replaced, which had previously been explored in the 21st episode of the 11th season of The Simpsons, It's a Mad, 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 Mad Marge, which first aired in May 2000. In that installment, Otto's ex-fiancée Becky moves in with the Simpsons family, only to try and usurp Marge's place, though Marge initially gaslights herself into dismissing her concerns before finally giving in to her impulses. Then gaslighting herself some more, before Becky confesses that she had indeed thought about killing Marge off.
I even thought of a good place to bury you. But then I didn't have a shovel, so I went to the hardware store and they have 6 different kinds, and I was like, later.
The very idea behind Thanksgiving of Horror was ambitious enough before the decision was made to turn one of the segments into a fitting tribute to Black Mirror, making an already difficult task even harder. Then, Weber chose to make the story a character study revolving around the insecurity and jealousy of one of the show's most sympathetic and morally sound characters. And, ultimately, as a result, the fourth Thursday After Tomorrow was a fitting spiritual sequel to both House of Wax and It's a Mad, 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 Mad Marge, as it's one of the strongest Marge-focused stories that The Simpsons has ever produced, while also managing to capture the spirit of Black Mirror with its analysis of human nature and the inherent anxieties around technology, serving as an intricate, heartfelt tribute to the iconic TV series, with a segment that's just as layered as the best of the best episodes of the very show The Simpsons were paying respect to.
This meal was a lot of work, but I'd do it all again. That bitch!
Social rating, nosediving.